Welcome to The Edit with your host, Vivian Cole. Brought to you by Vogue Media Agency, the podcast where branding, visibility, and influence are curated with intention. Each week, we cut through the noise to explore strategy, storytelling, and what it really takes to build a brand that's seen, heard, and remembered.
Welcome to a special episode of The Edit. I'm Vivian Cole. Today, in honor of International Women's Day, we're having a necessary conversation. Visibility without apology. Because visibility for women has never been neutral. For generations, women have been taught to manage how they take up space. Be confident but not too confident. Be visible but not intimidating. Be ambitious but still agreeable. Speak up but don't make anyone uncomfortable. The message has always been layered and contradictory. You can be seen, but only within certain limits. And those limits were never designed for our expansion. Visibility without apology is not about being louder. It's about being whole. It's about claiming space without explanation, without softening your language, without performing gratitude for opportunities you earned. Too many women believe visibility must be justified, that we have to prove our worth repeatedly, that we have to overperform to be taken seriously, that authority must be earned again and again, even after it has already been demonstrated. This is not a confidence issue. It's a conditioning issue. Women are often taught that likability is the price of leadership, that if we want influence, we must remain palatable. But authority does not require permission, and leadership does not require shrinking. Claiming space starts internally. It begins with the decision to stop negotiating your presence, to stop explaining your credentials, to stop adding disclaimers to your expertise. You don't need to over-deliver to be legitimate. You don't need to be available at all times to be valuable. You don't need to be everything to everyone to be respected. Visibility rooted in self-trust is quiet, grounded, and undeniable. One of the most powerful shifts women leaders can make is separating visibility from performance. When visibility becomes performative, it leads to exhaustion, constant posting, constant proving, constant productivity to maintain relevance. But authority doesn't come from constant output. It comes from clarity, consistency, and conviction. People trust leaders who are steady, not frantic, who speak with intention, not urgency, who understand their value without over-explaining it. Setting boundaries is not a limitation to visibility. It is what makes visibility sustainable. Boundaries communicate confidence. They say, I respect my time, my energy, and my expertise. They signal leadership maturity. When you say no, when you protect your schedule, when you choose alignment over access, you reinforce your authority. Overperforming may gain attention, but it rarely builds respect. Respect comes from standards. And standards require restraint. Women are often praised for being adaptable, flexible, accommodating. While those qualities can be strengths, they become liabilities when they are rooted in self-erasure. Leadership requires discernment, knowing when to lean in and when to step back. You are allowed to be visible without being constantly available. You are allowed to be ambitious without being endlessly agreeable. You are allowed to be successful without being apologetic. Building authority also means letting go of the need to be understood by everyone. Not everyone will resonate with your leadership style. Not everyone will celebrate your growth. That is not a failure. That is focus. When you stop trying to appeal to everyone, your message becomes clearer to the people who matter. Visibility without apology also requires rewriting the narrative around confidence. Confidence does not require charisma. It does not require volume. It does not require perfection. Confidence is rooted in self-knowledge, knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what you will not compromise. It's showing up as yourself, consistently, without contorting to fit expectations that were never meant to serve you. Women leaders often carry the burden of representation, the pressure to get it right, to be exceptional, to leave no room for error. But leadership does not require flawlessness. It requires honesty. You don't have to be perfect to be powerful. Authority grows when you trust yourself enough to be seen as you are, not as a polished version designed to be safe. International Women's Day is not just a celebration of progress. It's a reminder of the work that remains, especially the internal work of unlearning habits that kept us small. Visibility without apology is a practice. It shows up in how you introduce yourself, in how you price your work, in how you speak in rooms where you are outnumbered, in how you respond, or don't respond, to doubt. It's choosing not to shrink when challenged. It's choosing not to perform humility when confidence is appropriate. It's choosing not to apologize for clarity, boundaries, or success. When women lead from a place of grounded authority, it changes the culture of leadership itself. It makes room for others. It normalizes presence without performance. It redefines power as something steady rather than loud. Your visibility is not something to earn. It is something to inhabit. You belong in rooms you haven't entered yet. Your voice carries weight even when it's calm. Your leadership does not require constant proof. So today, as we honor International Women's Day, I invite you to reflect on where you may be shrinking unnecessarily, where you may be overperforming out of habit, where you may be apologizing for simply taking up space. Ask yourself, what would it look like to lead without apology this year? To show up with clarity instead of explanation? To trust that your presence is enough? Visibility without apology is not defiance. It's alignment. It's choosing to lead as yourself, fully, without shrinking to make others comfortable. Thank you for joining me for this special episode of The Edit brought to you by Vogue Media Agency. I'm Vivian Cole. Today and every day, may you claim your space, set your boundaries, and lead with authority, without apology.
Thanks for listening to The Edit with Vivian Cole, brought to you by Vogue Media Agency. Be sure to subscribe for more insights, share this episode with your network, and join us next week for another conversation on building brands with clarity, confidence, and impact. Visit voguemedia.us.
Vogue Media Agency offers comprehensive services to help small to medium-sized businesses, faith-based and nonprofit organizations, content creators, and entrepreneurs establish and grow their online presence. Focusing on website design, landing pages, social media management, podcast training, branding, weblog creation, and public relations, Vogue Media Agency provides a convenient one-stop solution for clients looking to elevate their digital footprint. What sets us apart is our personalized service and niche expertise. We are your marketing consultants. Contact us today.
To contact Vogue Media Agency, call 212-470-2730 or visit voguemedia.us.